Hey guys, it's Framed, and today I'm here to bring a quest guide done easy on the quest to Lunar Diplomacy. And all of the requirements I'm about to read are in the description, as they always are, but people always seem to never realize that. So I'm going to point that out. The quest requirements for this guide are Fremennik Trials, Lost City, Shilo Village, and Rune Mysteries. And the skill requirements are 5 Herblore, 40 Defense, 49 Firemaking, 55 Woodcutting, 60 Mining, 61 Crafting, and 65 Magic. And the items required for this quest are a Tinderbox, Pestle and Mortar, a Dramen Staff, 400 coins, needle, a thread, a pickaxe, and by the way, I would suggest about 5 threads, because you have to actually make the armor. Anyway, getting back to that, a pickaxe, a hammer, a spade, an air, water, fire, and earth talisman, clean guam, clean marrentill, and an axe. To start off, head to Relica and head west. Speak to Luckar Sea Runner and select the first option, then the second option, then the first option again, scroll through a bit of dialogue, and then select the first option again. After all that, then head back in the main hall and speak to Brudden about the quest, and he will give you a seal of passage. Head back to Luckar Sea Runner and select the first option. Make sure you wear the seal of passage at all times during this quest, by the way. Next, follow the path I do and speak to Captain Bentley and scroll through a bit of dialogue, then select the fourth option. A small cutscene will occur, then head downstairs and speak to Bird's Eye Jack, then speak to Captain Bentley again and select the second option. Head back downstairs and speak to Bird's Eye Jack again and scroll through a bit of dialogue, and then head back to Captain Bentley. Next, head north and speak to Eagle Eye Schultz and scroll through a bit of dialogue with him, then head all the way downstairs and speak to Beefy Burns all the way south. Scroll through a bit of dialogue with him, and then head all the way to the top of the ship and speak to Lecherous Lee. Head down to the main deck and look for First Mate Davy Boy and scroll through some dialogue, then head back to the top deck and speak to the cabin boy. Scroll through a bit of dialogue with him and construct an emerald lamp. With the emerald lamp, you can now identify and rub away the marked symbols on the ship. Use the lamp on the cannon on the east side next to Cabin Boy, the wall chart in the First Mate Davy Boy's cabin, the wooden chest next to the ladder on the bottom deck, the support column just north of Beefy Burns, and the stack of crates in the room east of Beefy Burns. If you don't know where any of these locations are, then just look at the video, because I go over it. After you've rubbed away all the symbols, head back to the Captain Bentley and speak to him. Next, get off the dock and try to head into the village, and a cutscene will occur. After that, go to the southeast part of the island and speak to the one lady, which I don't even want to pronounce her name, and scroll through a bit of dialogue with her, then head back into the city and go to the chicken house and speak to Baby Yaga and select through all the options. After that, head out of the village and kill suckers until you receive a sucker tooth, then grind it using the pestle and mortar. You will also want to get 4 sucker hides for later. Head into the village and use the guam vial on the water source, then use the guam leaf, the marrentill, and the tooth ashes on the vial. After that, head back to the one lady and speak to her, and she will take the vial. Now use the Dramen staff on the air altar, the fire altar, the water altar, then the earth altar, in that order. Head back to Lunar Isle and speak to the one lady and she will take the staff, then scroll through all the available options. Next, head back into the city with your 4 hides and speak to the ball floating chick and she will tan them. Then, make all the available armor. Next, head west and speak to Celine and select the second option. Then, head out of the city and follow the path I take. Dig on all the blue flowers until you find the lunar ring. Next, head back into the city and speak to Meteora. After that, head out of the village and kill another sucket until you receive a special tiara, then bring it back to Meteora and she will give you a lunar amulet in return. After that, head north and speak to Pauline and select the second option twice. I'm not sure if it's different for every player, but the correct answer is Jane, Blood, Hatchet, Maid. After you guess correctly, she will give you the cape. Next, head to the northeast part of the island and go down the ladder. Then mine one of the stalagmites and either use the ore on a furnace or superheat it. Then use the bar on an anvil to make the helmet. After that, clear 11 free inventory spaces and head back to the one lady. Then she will take all your armor and give it back to you because she's an idiot. Then, head back to the village and get some supplies. Then head into the house to the west and light the ceremonial brazier. Then use the kindling on the brazier and you'll be teleported. Speak to the ethereal man and scroll through some dialogue. Then go east to start the first challenge. All you have to do for this challenge is just beat him in a race, which it took me 2 tries, but it's pretty easy. Just a quick side note, after you complete one individual challenge, that you have to speak to the man in the middle so you can go on to the next one. The next challenge I messed up on, but all you really need to do is cut more logs than this guy, which is really easy. Then you just stack them. For this challenge, it's simply remembering the pattern, which is done by process of elimination. It took me about 10 minutes to figure this out. You could get lucky, but it normally takes a decent amount of time. This next challenge is a bit tricky to explain, but it is pretty much just adding up all the dice to equal one number. It tells you the number on the bottom in the chat box. The way you manipulate the total number is by hitting one of the dice block to get its opposite number. I put a chart on the side that's from Rune's Q, but for example, let's say that there was a total number of 20 and I hit a die that had the number 1 on it. Then the die would transform into the number 6 and the total number would now be 25, since you need to take into account that you aren't adding on to the previous number, but replacing it entirely. The trick really isn't that hard, and if you don't know what to do, then you can pretty much just kick the dice around until it works, but this really shouldn't be that hard. This next challenge is really easy. All you really have to do for it is just follow the guy around and mimic the emotes that he does. For the second and last challenge, this guy will give you a sequence of numbers and you just have to finish them by tapping the appropriate two numbers that follow. I put a chart on the screen so that you don't have to figure out the actual sequence, and this was also taken from Runescape. After you are done with all these challenges, speak to the guy in the middle again and he will send you to the final challenge, which is just killing a clone of yourself. I forgot to drop the axe from earlier and it will not let you in with any other weapon besides the lunar staff, so make sure you drop that. And after you defeat your clone, speak to the guy in the middle again and he will send you back. Then go and speak to the one lady and your quest will be complete. Thank you guys for watching, and if this guide helped you out in any way, then be sure to give it a like because it took me a very long time to put this all together.